right, Retired Teachers Association. Last week, candidates for Terrebonne Parish President, State Senate, and State Representative gathered at Ellendale Country Club for a forum. We now present to you the candidates in attendance for Terrebonne Parish President.
The questions for these candidates will be asked by a moderator, TRTA President Lynn Elsie. Each candidate will be given 90 seconds to begin with his or her opening remarks. Following the remarks, we'll have 3 to 5 rounds of questions. The questions will be different for each candidate and randomly drawn by the moderator. Each candidate will have a maximum of 90 seconds to each round to answer, and the candidates are to hold on to their questions for a special round of questioning at the end.
Good morning. How y'all doing this morning? My name is Jason Bazeron, and I'm a product of public school. I'm running as a public servant, not a politician. I'm here with my wife, Angèle Gauger-Bazeron, who is an educator for 25 years and a current curriculum specialist for K through 2nd grade for the school system in Terrebonne Parish. We have 2 children, Aiden and Maddie. Maddie's a senior at LSU, and Aiden's a sophomore in high school. I've been giving back to the community and the school system and trying to help those with opportunities my entire career. I've been doing technology or some form of business consulting for the last 25 years. And I would not be where I am today without the opportunities that those have provided me in the past. We both graduated South Terrebonne High School, and a typing class in that school helped set me up for success in a career that spanned 25 years in technology. I'm also part of the executive board of the chamber that helped the school district pass the sales tax after the millage failed. And so I've always helped to get school teachers and school districts, a leg up and hand out to make things successful. I work in the school systems with an esports program, with STEM, with mentorship. I'm always looking to help students have an opportunity and do like myself and come from not a whole lot, living in a trailer for most of my life in Berg, to a business owner of 4 companies today. And so I just want to provide the same opportunities for our residents. Thank you.
Fairness, honesty, and justice. This is my name. Fairness, honesty, and justice. I don't understand why those terms are so hard to understand, but it seems in the political arena they are hard to understand. I have the audacity to point this out to everyone, especially candidates. I don't know why I chose this career path that I want to do, but I'm 73 years old. I am a graduate of Vanderbilt Catholic High School. I received an athletic scholarship to Nicholls State University. I'm an honor graduate of Nicholls State University. I went to law school for a short time, but I quit because I didn't want to be a crook. No offense to the lawyers out here, Jude. But anyway, it's very important that we understand what fairness and honesty is. And it seems to be slipped far behind in anything political. I have everyone beat on children, I'm gonna promise you right now. My wife and I had 25 foster children. We adopted 5 children. We have custody of a grandchild, and we have a 40-year-old autistic child that's still in our lives. My children probably tormented you as teachers. Am I finished? I'm finished?
Thank y'all for inviting me. My name's Darren Guidry. I'm a Terrebonne Parish councilman. I've been a councilman for the last 8 years. Prior to that, I served 8 years as Parish President Michelle Claudet's appointment to the Levy Board. Prior to that, I spent 6 years as the Chamber of Commerce's appointment to the Terrebonne Economic Development Authority. So I understand economic development, I understand flood protection, and I understand parish government. And if we ask a lot of retired people, would you want to be young again? Most people would say, yeah, as long as I know what I know now. Experiences are very important to who we are and what we can do. Who would have thought as a councilman I would have had experience with COVID? But I saw what happened, I saw what was done right, I saw what was done wrong. Who would have thought we would have gone through the worst hurricane we've ever had? Well, I've seen the recovery, I've seen what has been done right, and I've learned what I'm going to do different if it ever happens again. Who would have thought we would have dealt with a wildfire? You know, I'm getting phone calls and people saying, well, what are you doing? It's like, well, you know, a councilman doesn't put out fires. But, you know, we've figured out something, and we put pumps, and we're flooding that swamp. And hopefully in the next 3 or 4 days, it'll be put out. Experience is important, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'm running. And I ask that you consider voting for Darren Guidry. Thank you very much.
Well, good morning, and thanks for your service. My name is Aranda Smith, and I'm a Houma native. So my family's from Gibson, Louisiana, and later on, my mom and I, we moved to the west side of Houma. I'm a graduate of Terrebonne High School, 1987. I'm a United States Army veteran. I also served in Desert Shield and Desert Storm. In terms of education, I earned a associate's degree in business administration from Pierce College, also a bachelor's degree in business administration from Pierce College as well. In terms of my master's degree, I fulfilled a childhood dream of graduating from an Ivy League institution, University of Pennsylvania. While in my master's program, I also earned 3 master's certifications. So that's the education side of me. But this is the side of me that I want you guys to know, that I love people, I'm concerned about this parish, I love this parish, and I'm passionate about this parish. My approach is a little bit different. I think to get where we need to go as a parish, we have to learn how to work collectively in our parish. And what that looks like, us working together to bring about a better Terrebonne Parish to thrive. That thriving looks like Terrebonne Parish, citizens working together, nonprofits working together, researchers working together, colleges and universities working together to get a Terrebonne Parish that can thrive for everyone in this room. Thank you.
Good morning. I want to thank the Retired Teachers Association for having this today. And I am Krista Duplantis-Prather, and I'm a lifelong resident of Terrebonne Parish. And I am a product of public and private school. I went to Mermaculata, Legion Park, Houma Junior High, then Vanderbilt. So I'm very diverse as far as the public and private sector. I graduated from Vanderbilt Catholic in '83, and I attended Nicholls State to take all my prerequisites to go to nursing school, and I got accepted to LSU School of Nursing, and I have an associate and a baccalaureate degree in nursing, and I have been a nurse over 30 years serving the people. And I work right now at Auctioner, and I'm the daughter of Floyd and Robbie Duplantis that are both deceased. And I am married to the love of my life that's sitting right here, Charles Prather, and my high school sweetheart. I do not have any children, and I began serving the great people of Terrebonne since 1996. I've been elected 5 terms in 2 different districts for Terrebonne Parish Council, 5 different parish presidents. I want Terrebonne to grow and strive, not just survive. I am the person that has the record to run. Day 1, I can start working for you, the people of Terrebonne, with no learning curve, no training necessary. Please remember Krista Duplantis-Prather, number 96, on the ballot, October 14th. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Michael Paul LaRussa. I am also a product of a public and private school. But there was one teacher in my life that touched me, and it was Miss Billy Eagle, 3rd grade at Village East. I still remember her to this day. My mother was a teacher, my father was a teacher, my mother retired at Acadian School, East Home, and back at Acadian. I served on many task force for the school district. South Down Rebuild, Facility Study Task Force, but the one I'm most proud of is the teacher pay raise. Me and a few administration people took time, at least I did, out of my schedule, went to 36 schools to teach and to promote and to educate and to motivate y'all to pass and get y'all a $4,000 and a $2,000 raise. Some of y'all are retiring with an extra $4,000 because of these efforts. I am very proud, and I wish I could have gave y'all $20,000. When somebody said economic development on this campaign trail, the first form of economic development is a good education system, and it's y'all. Y'all have put the foundation. My mother, you know, going through these campaigns and on this task force that we did, the teachers are part-time. BS. My mother used to sit in that bed cutting cardboard stuff out all during the summers, doing all this work. I'm finished? Okay. Thank y'all. I'm preaching to the choir. Mike LaRussa, 72.
Good morning. My name is Connie Berg, and I'm a lifelong resident of Terrebonne Parish. I'm married to Lavis Berg Jr. We own Lavis's Conoco and Lavis's Auto Repair, downtown Houma. I'm a retired rural carrier from the U.S. Postal Service. We have 2 children. Jason's 44 and Katie's 42. They both live outside the state, sorry to say, and that tugs on my heart. And that's why I feel for people whose children have to leave this parish to go to work. I know what it's like. I graduated from South Terrebonne in 1975. I have a master's degree in common sense. It's just that simple. I went to work. I graduated from South Terrebonne in distributive education. I've been working since I'm 15 years old. I'm not afraid to work. You're not going to outwork me, I promise you. I've taken it upon myself to try and clean up Terrebonne Parish because it seems like they're having a hard time getting it done. 30 seconds. So, okay. I have a passion for this parish, okay? I don't have all these other, I don't know what you'd call it, but I have a passion for Terrebonne Parish that I want to see it flourish and strive. Because we came back home, we moved away for 4 years, and we missed Houma. We came back. So we're both retired, we don't have anything else to do but work for Terrebonne Parish. Connie Berg, number 65.
How would you improve the quality of life in the parish?
90 seconds. 90 seconds, all right, thank you. So one of the first things I'm going to start with is creating a community outreach department. This department is going to go throughout the parish, and basically when you look at a council person represents about 12,000 people, and that is a part-time job. We're going to have people in the parish dedicated to each council district, going into each community and understanding what those needs are and bringing in resources to address those needs, whether they be mental health, tutoring, education as far as like what can we do for college versus non-college, and just helping people get mentored and helping them have a hand up and not a handout. I'm also part of the Hatch Grant. We built a bandstand in the courthouse square because we saw something needed to get done, and we built it. Our next project is to build kayak launches throughout Terrebonne Parish and create a paddle loop, the only paddle loop in the state that creates ecotourism and economic development. So when I look at quality of life and everything that is insurance and crime and drugs, with fentanyl being the leading killer of adults under 50 years old, we've got to make sure that everything else that lets people be successful in our parish and have opportunities are things that let them have a great quality of life. Thank you.
How would you handle disagreements with the parish council or other officials? And hold on to this.
That would be great. I would handle disagreements with the parish council like I handled politicians all my life in my 27-year career in wildlife and fisheries, fighting corruption. If you ain't right, you're going to catch hell. So I would have to have a parish council that they don't have to agree with me, but I have my own ideas on how things should be done, and I'm going to want it to be done that way. I'll be difficult, you know, because everybody has their own agendas, everybody has their own ideas up here, but I have mine. And in 90 seconds, I can't tell you what all of mine are. I'm 73 years old, and it would take me forever to talk about my desires. I have a great deal of compassion for everything that I do. I don't have to prove myself to anybody. I've been here and I've done that. This parish needs a total revamping of fairness, honesty, and justice. And you're going to hear that throughout my talk. Because without that, we just soon give up. Fairness, honesty, and justice should be the cornerstone of the politicians here and throughout the country. Unfortunately, we do not have it. We have to build it. We have to do it. Nobody else is going to give it to you. It's a fight. It's a revolution. So I hope you vote for me. Of course, I didn't tell you my name. My name's Roy Cholin. So fairness, honesty, and justice. Thank you.
How would you work with the parish council and members of the staff? Hold on to this.
Well, of course, I would do no different than I'm doing right now. As far as members of the council, you have to put together packages, of course, that benefit everybody. You know, if you're a councilman, you're representing District 6, but you're also representing Terrebonne Parish. So as long as you're looking at the greater need of the parish. The other thing is, Ronald Reagan once said, if you want to get things done, then don't care. If you don't care who gets the credit, you can get a lot of things done. And that's kind of where it is. I don't care. You know, I don't have an ego. If we get things done and somebody else wants the credit, great. You know, I do some things sometimes that, you know, I talk to the parish president, bring ideas, we do great things, and he gets the credit for it, and that's okay. And I'll even Facebook saying, special thanks to our parish president, Gordon Dove, even if for some reason in this thing he didn't do anything. I consider that my tax. That's my tax for getting things done, because, you know, I pay back our parish president for supporting something that we've done. So we'll do the same thing. Legislators, you know, 311 was horrible, and we had to repair 311. I worked together with Jerome Zarang, and we got that done. Well, I'm not going to go out there and say, I did this. I'm going to say, I worked together with Representative Jerome Zarang, and he helped us get this done. So I think you can get a lot done if you don't care who gets the credit. Thank you.
How would you attract more business and investments to the parish? Hold on to this.
So attracting more businesses to our parish. So first of all, I have to see what our needs are for the parish. So I'm really big, again, my background is on people and processes. So I think what needs to happen and before we start attracting businesses to see what some of our needs are. And that begins again with the people. We have to build relationships again with colleges, universities. We have Nicholls State here, Fletcher College here as well. So we need to find out what the students need, what the citizens need. I always use the example that we can probably bring industries in here that can provide jobs here. But if we don't bring in the right industry for our people, then we'll have unemployment. So we can bring in the industry and say, for example, they're going to give us a contract to do 1 million widgets, you know, and then we bring the industry here and then no one wants to work the job. So we're still at the same place. So my idea of bringing industry is paramount, that we find out what's needed here, and also being honest with these industries about our culture. Our culture is different here. Geographically, we're going to have hurricanes here in our community. So we really need to educate those organizations or businesses that's thinking about coming here about how our culture is. I'm fond of our culture, and we all love it here. None of us are running away from hurricanes. We just got hit by Ida. But because of our love for our culture, we stayed. But we can't expect that of someone else. So ideally, I think we just need to have a more thorough assessment with people in our community, existing organizations, to find what are their needs and how we can support them in our community as well. Thank you.
Are there any places in the parish you would like to improve or enhance if elected? Hold on to this.
Yes, ma'am. Wow. There's quite a bit of places in Terrebonne Parish I want to fix and improve. First area I would improve, of course, is our downtown. We need to revitalize it and get our buildings up to the standards they need to be, and kind of have it kind of like in Ocean Springs, bring something back to where people can shop again and eat downtown. I used to do that when I was a kid. Can't do that anymore because we are very limited. Also, on the east side of Houma is an area I would really love to improve. Our air base is a gold mine, and make that more of a recreation area for the people of the east side. And also, I think it's the Rodeo Association. We need to bring back rodeo and the 4-H and lots of, gosh, I'm trying to think, tear down what we have now, rebuild, and have a covered arena for our Rodeo Association. How many seconds? 30 seconds, okay. So I got my east side. Also, the lower ends of the parish, our bayous, I'd like to fix it up there, help them to rebuild. I have walked down there, and they really need a lot of help. Our roads within the whole parish we need to fix. And I can go on because since Ida, we just need to rebuild and have people come back into their homes and have Houma a nice, safe, and friendly place to live again.
What do you think is the parish's biggest strength?
Okay. I think our biggest strength are our people. I've traveled all around the country and the state. We do have the friendliest people around. One time, I felt like Crocodile Dundee going to New York telling everybody, hello, hello, and they just kept walking. And I think that is our biggest asset, is our people. We care about each other. Natural resources, definitely. We have the best natural resources with Sportsman's Paradise around here. But again, it's our neighbors, it's our families. It's hard after this devastated storm. People don't want to leave our community. Sometimes they have to. But there's a reason they don't want to leave. Because it's our friends, our family, it's our neighbors. We still have 800,000 people living in FEMA trailers. They all have tickets, Willy Wonka tickets, I call it, Section 8, to move anywhere in the state, and they're still in the trailers in Terrebonne Parish. They don't want to leave. And I think, again, our biggest strength are us. And if we can do this together, rebuild, this is a 10-year process. It's not overnight. But if we stick together, unify, and pull this together, we can make Terrebonne bigger, better than it's ever been before. Thank you.
Please give an example of how Terrebonne Parish government should improve its use of existing public resources.
Clean them up, for one thing. In case y'all didn't hear that, I said cleaning it up, for one thing. Public resources, okay. We definitely need some cleaning in Terrebonne Parish to use those public resources. Most of our parks right now are in deplorable shape. The marina downtown needs to be completely re-landscaped because they did not maintain the landscape that was already put in place. There are plenty of opportunities where we can clean and beautify our area to make it look more appealing for people to come to the area. I have so many ideas that I want to clean up this parish for. Right now, Highway 90 you don't even have to come to Houma for any reason unless you have a reason, because Highway 90 bypasses Houma. It takes you completely out of Houma. We need something at those exits to improve our public.
30 seconds.
You disrupt my train of thought. I get another 30 seconds because you disrupted my train of thought. All right. So anyway, like I said, I want to beautify this parish. I want to make it a place where people want to come, they want to visit. We have wonderful people. I love our area, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that our area is beautified and people want to come here. Thank you.
Are there industries you would like to attract to our parish?
Thank you. So, like I mentioned earlier, I've been in the technology industry for 25 years. And with that process, I've helped companies become more efficient, more productive, more profitable every day, thousands of companies. And so when I look at our area and see that oil and gas and fisheries have been around for 100 years and both have been dying, being able to bring innovative ideas to both of those industries helps us start recovery. So I have oil and gas where everything's going to be automatic and robotic. When you look at fisheries, something as simple as a sorting machine or plate freezers are things that can help both those industries be more successful. Once you do that, you then have smarter minds and more people involved in the process, learning technology, learning different skill sets, at which point we could then start creating industry. One of the industries I talk about is a small home manufacturing industry, something to address a need we have, something to skill people up, and then when hurricanes and other disasters hit everywhere else in the country, we could be the leader and bringing housing to those people in the same issues that we deal with every day. And so our biggest resource is our people, allowing our people to work anywhere and live here, and work on migrating them back to where they work here and live here. We can do all that through technology. Thank you.
As parish president, what will you do for the youth of Terrebonne Parish to encourage them to stay here after high school or college graduation? Hold on to it.
I'm glad she read it. I might not have been able to read it. Anyway, to encourage our kids to stay, I don't know what you're going to have to do. I don't have a magic wand to wave to fix all the issues in Terrebonne Parish. To make your kids stay, you have to make this place profitable. You have to make this place a place where if they're going to go to college and spend all that time and their parents' money on education, well, then they're going to want to maximize on that effort. Right now, economic development is at a low because of our inability to attract businesses to this place. When I first graduated from high school, from college, I could not get a job in the oil field because I was too educated. The reverse has happened. Companies want our children to be educated. The educational system, I don't want to look at that. The educational system needs to be revamped. We have a 20% dropout rate. We have another 15 to 20% that don't know how to make change without a computer. Tell me that that is education. I didn't learn like that. There's a whole revamping of the system that needs to come up, we need to come up with, or we are not going to keep them. They're going to leave to go to Houston and everywhere else to get better paying jobs.
Are there any parish regulations or ordinances that you would seek to change, repeal, or try to pass if elected? Hold on to this.
Yes, I can tell you one of the biggest ordinances I would like to revise. You speak about quality of life. One of the biggest problems we have in Terrebonne Parish is litter. I think you see it everywhere. And, you know, to attack litter, we're going to have to do it from 3 different angles. We're only doing it from one now. And it's kind of like a 3-legged stool. If any one of these things is not there, the stool falls over. And that is, first thing is education. We're going to have to educate our people about litter. You remember when 20 years ago, 30 years ago, did we wear seat belts? No. In fact, the car started to beep with seat belts if you didn't put them on, so you would kind of buckle them behind you because, you know, there's annoying things. Well, we had an education. We taught people that seat belts save lives, and we wear them. So we have to have an education. And we have an education, what's going to happen? People are going to report them, so we have enforcement. You talk about ordinances? We need to strengthen our ordinances and enforcement. We need to make people have community service time. You know, if they're a second offense litterer, they need to go pick up litter. You know, and the third thing we have is abatement. We got to go pick up the trash on the side of the road. Right now, all we have is abatement. We send the prisoners to go pick up trash. The next day it's there again. So we're going to do all of those 3 things, but part of it includes taking our ordinances and strengthening them. But if we don't have the education piece, and people aren't reporting, and people don't have the knowledge, then it'll never work. So we're going to do all 3 to make sure that our community is clean. Thank you.
What is your opinion on parish maintenance issues? And hold on to that.
So my opinion on parish maintenance issues. So I guess we'll just start with the roads. I guess the most common thing we hear in the community, especially when I'm out canvassing, roads come up a lot. Roads and bridges, but mainly roads. People just not happy with the status of our roads and the conditions of the roads. But one of the things that I thought about when it came to roads, I went onto the website for Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government, and I looked at the roles and responsibilities of that department. And there were many, it was many. And then I also read a little further, and it said there was 56 personnel assigned to those departments. In my opinion, I think that's, we need to look at the staffing. I'm not sure if we have enough staffing to take care of the needs of Terrebonne Parish. Secondly, training. I think we need to make sure that everyone that's currently in the department has a proper training for our roads and our bridges. I believe we have 76 bridges here also that also falls in that department. Also, when there's parades, they're responsible for those things as well. So they have a considerable amount of responsibilities. So in my opinion, I think we need to take a good look at and assess how many personnel is in that department for roads and bridges. The roles and responsibilities, do we need to go and reassign those? Take a look at that as well. Funding, make sure that we have adequate funding to get those things done in a timely manner so we're driving on safe roads and operating on safe bridges here in Terrebonne Parish. Thank you.
What is your vision for the parish?
That's another loaded one. My vision is to make Terrebonne Parish a cleaner, safer, more friendly parish once again, to where we can attract people to come to our parish, to live here, and raise a family here, and also to open a business here, and to feel welcomed in Terrebonne, because I was told that some people that have tried to come into Terrebonne were shied away instead of welcoming them in with business. You do need competition here. You need businesses here. We can't just be with the same old businesses. We need different industry. So I would work with getting different types of businesses here, different people here, and I think industry was one of those topics. Why don't we bring in something to do with recycling? We need more recycling instead of sending all our recycling out of the parish, which costs money. You need it to be locally to where it's not going to cost, and you can make lots of jobs with that industry. We tried it years ago. We need to bring it back because, yes, we have oil, we have medical here, but we definitely need other industry here. Thank you.
What do you see as the parish's major infrastructure need, and how would you address it?
I think we did a great job these last few years on levees and drainage and pumps, oh my, but I think we need to focus the next shift on roads. We do have a lot of state roads. I mean, come on, y'all got to understand, we have every major highway, every major road in this parish is a state road responsible by the state. In the budget, I think we need to shift some money to our parish roads. I think that's the first thing on the infrastructure situation. But shifting off of infrastructure, I don't know if anything is important. Insurance. I mean, it affects y'all more because y'all on a set pay limit. Y'all have y'all set fees. Insurance is killing this community. I don't know about economic development if you don't have anybody living here. I don't know if we have a road if nobody's driving on it. Insurance is the biggest problem in this parish. And it's probably the biggest problem in the state. So, yes, we need to put our resources and slow down a little bit because we already have them in play on drainage and levees. However, we need to shift it on maintenance of the ditches also. Now that we built the pumps, we need to get the water to them. So I think that is two roads, maintenance on ditches, but insurance. Look, it is killing our community. When the insurance rates are higher than our mortgages, we're in trouble. Thank you.
How can we support small businesses in our parish?
All right, as a small business owner at one time, you got hard work ahead of you. If you're going to open up a business in this town, that is your business. It's your responsibility to make it work. That is on you. There is a small business administration that will loan you money, but you have to pay that loan back. Owning a small business is tough. It's not easy. and you're going to have a hard time making it. But it's on you. You have to do it. Back in the days when all our ancestors started their business, did the government come and help them? No. It was their tenacity and their wits and their drive that kept them in business. And they had to learn how to manage the money and how to take care of it. Now, yes, nowadays you have classes to teach you how to run a business and this, that, and the other. But if you're going to run a business, you better have it up here and in here. If it's not in your heart to do this, you're not gonna succeed. And you have to run your business. You can't hire somebody else to run your business. That's on you. So I think these kids today, when they think, oh, I'm gonna open a business and this is gonna be great and I'm gonna be able to do this and do that, and then they realize that, well, I have to stay here all day. Yeah, you do. Or I can't go on vacation. No, you can't. So they have an eye-opening experience with thinking that the government is just going to walk in and take care of their businesses for them, because that's not going to happen. In all the years we were in business, I never accepted a dime from the government.
How would you handle a budget deficit or fiscal crisis?
When I owned Technology Professionals, I was one of the technology company I owned for 16 years that I sold out of in 2019. Between 2014 and 2017, most of our customers lost between 30 and 60% of their revenue with the oil crisis. During that time frame, I was able to keep our revenue flat and increase our profitability, which led me to start a business consulting company to help other companies do the same. And so one of the things I found is when a company doesn't have their structure together and they try to implement solutions, those solutions fail, take longer, or cost more. So what I do for businesses every day is I go into these businesses, I make sure they have their structure set up, and I make sure they have efficiencies, procedures, and how they can use technology, or how in some cases technology doesn't apply, to help them make that business more successful. I'm going to take that experience and leadership into parish government. So right off the bat, we're going to start looking for efficiencies. We're going to start looking for ways to do things differently, to do things better, to have some common sense and run the parish government more like a business. And so just by doing that, we're prepared for success more in a situation where we might have a financial crisis. And from the time of having a financial crisis, as part of the Hatch Grant, we raised over $300,000 after Ida to bring resources to our residents with supplies, generators, food, laundry, and showers. It's about having the relationships and finding a way to get it done and get the money in place, but also run things efficiently to prepare for the worst, but be ready for great times. Thank you.
What do you think is the most important responsibility of the parish president?
Easy. Fairness, honesty, and justice. I'm going to pound that in your head because that is my philosophy. Fairness. Look, y'all look on your tables. All y'all see is a little card about this big, because I ain't got no money. I didn't spend a penny. I didn't get a sign because I said the people were going to be my sign. I'm too old to spend. If we would take all the money that all these politicians up here and all the ones in the state and everywhere else, boy, y'all would have a big pay raise. I promise you that. If you translate those signs into money. That's kind of confusing to me, as why would somebody spend so much money on a job that gives you $75,000 and will probably end up with a heart attack before you're 70 years old. I don't understand that, why people would want to seek that. But the most important thing, let me read this again. Okay, important responsibility of the parish president is fairness, honesty, and justice. I'm sorry. But root out the budgetary problems of the parish or mismanagement. To be honest with you, I'll give you one example. Hurry up. I'll give you one example. There was a bridge that was built by Gordon Dove, an elaborate bridge, when we had 26 other bridges on priority at the time. Now, was that fair, honest, and just? No. The poor people didn't know that that bridge was being built at a cost of much more than the other bridges. Fairness, honesty, and justice.
Would you be willing to veto decisions of the council you disagree with?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the job of the parish president, to represent the entire parish. And if the council is doing something parochial that's bad for the parish as a whole, then the parish president needs to be that voice of the good of the parish. Now, I don't think we've had any issues come in front of us yet to date that I can remember where our current parish president has vetoed an issue. But you know, a lot of people don't realize the power of this parish president in Terrebonne Parish. You know, it's different than other parishes because we have a consolidated government. We don't have any municipalities. So our parish president is the mayor, right? And the legislative branch is a separate branch, just like it is in Washington, D.C., where you have the administrative and the legislative branch. You know, people call us as a councilman all the time. The phone calls we get, nobody calls us and say, could you pass an ordinance? They call us and say, can you get my ditch dug? You know, can you fix my road? Can you fix my street light? Things that we don't have a direct power to do. I see some of those things that need to be done, and it frustrates me as a councilman. That's one of the reasons I'm not running for re-election. I'm running for parish president, because it shouldn't be this hard to be a councilman. You know, these things should automatically be done. Street lights should be fixed, roads should be repaired, ditches should be dug. Thank you.
What do you think is the key role of the parish president?
Key role of the parish president. I guess you guys said get up here and repeat the question. I actually learned that in school. Repeat the question before you get started. So what I think the key role of parish president, I would say to build strong community by uniting people. Our parish president has to be poised as a person to build community, not tear communities apart. And I think that starts with transparency, just building off Mr. Showman over there. But I think it starts with transparency. We have to create a government where it's transparent for everyone. It doesn't matter what's your socioeconomic background. It doesn't matter what your profession, what neighborhood you live in. Everyone should feel comfortable about what's happening in this government. The government is for the people and by the people. So we have to make sure that we are united in a way, and that unification comes from the top person. I'm a bottoms-up person. And what I mean by that, I'm a bottom-up leader. I don't believe that the hierarchy should just lead alone. I feel that a leader should make sure that they're taking everyone's concerns into consideration as you make decisions for this parish. So my answer is I think that the parish president should be the person that unifies the community by building stronger communities. So you have strong people make stronger communities. Thank you.
Yes. What do you think about the parish's current economic situation?
So what do I think about the parish's current economic situation? Well, it's tough times for everybody right now. Gas prices are elevated. The price of food is elevated. The insurance rates, everything is elevated, but no one's salaries or money that's coming in is going up. Lots of people in Terrebonne Parish are all on fixed incomes. So if we don't do something with our economics here in this parish, we're in trouble. That's when people get up and leave and go to another town, another state. We're the highest, not the highest, but one of the highest taxed parishes. And we have to look at that. We take care of our seniors. We take care of our, we're taxed for the seniors. I think for the military museum, it was taxed. And we believe in our people, and that's why we did that. However, the more that we have taxes, the more it's hard for people to live here. So with economic development, we need to work together. The government here, working with our senators, representatives on the local level and in Washington to build up our economics here in Terrebonne Parish. Thank you.
Do you believe it is necessary to continue the focus on coastal erosion, levee projects, and rebuilding barrier islands?
Do I believe in it? It is absolutely necessary. We started something 15 years ago. A group of people got together, and our citizens, called Time for Action, went to the Civic Center. Kathleen Blanco, governor at that time, flew down and gave us our first $10 million for our levee systems. Now we have numerous floodgates. We have 12-foot levees, around 72 miles of them, and we have locks. We have the biggest investment probably the Corps has ever done in the United States right in our backyard. We need to get them to 22 feet. Definitely we have to do that. But as far as the barrier islands, we need to rock the barrier islands. The state's spending huge amount of money pumping sand in the barrier islands to be washed away. I know for a fact this parish did a study. There's an engineer with CPRA that controls the money with the state. One engineer that handles on the east side of the river believes in rocks. There's one engineer on the west side of the river does not believe in rocks. It's crazy. But in Grand Isle, the ones that have been to Grand Isle, it's working. I remember when the beach used to wash up underneath the camp on the beach. Now you got to catch your breath to get to the water now. Rocks work. Segmented rock, breakwater rocks need to be done. And I absolutely believe we need to continue and finally finish something that we started. Thank you.
What are your thoughts on tourism?
All right. Well, I kind of touched on that earlier when I talked to you about Highway 90 being taken out of Terrebonne Parish. Well, not out of Terrebonne Parish, excuse me, out of downtown Houma. I want to see our exits that come into Houma beautified and advertised. Welcome to Bayou Country. Right now, we're just a white spot in the road, and honestly, from the looks of the way they're maintained, I wouldn't get off. There's nothing there. It's not inviting at all. I would just keep on going, I'll be honest with you. So we need to address those exits coming into Houma. We need to have attractions out there in Houma. I don't know why they have our tourism bureau buried back in the swamp back there off of Highway 90, because you can't even see it from the highway. I love the white boots, they're cute, I love them, but you can't see them. They're too far back. We need things off the interstate to attract people to say, come to Bayou Country, come eat, come enjoy our people. Because right now, people are passing us by. And I never understood why they would want to take transportation out of a major city. I know the traffic is horrible and this, that, and the other with it. But at the same time, you're taking out commerce. People don't have to come here anymore. They can bypass us. And I mean, long ago when we had the rail system in this parish, they let the rail system go. That's a transportation hub. That brings commerce in and out. So I find our people have been letting things go that they need to pay more attention to, because you keep letting this stuff go, they're gonna let us fall into the Gulf and say adios. So that's my thing, is I really want to encourage tourism, but we have to get people off that highway and into our community to come here. So that's it. Thank you.
Please discuss your top priorities for improving the quality of life for parish residents and how you would achieve them.
All right, it's almost like grass here. We got another quality of life question. So I'll pick up where I left off. So like I talked about earlier, community outreach, getting into our communities. One of the things I found after Hurricane Ida and doing relief down all the bayous is that in some situations, grocery stores are the community center. They're the thing that keeps the bayou alive and the community alive, even on the northern side of the parish. And so I found that we're missing community centers. And with community centers, there's an opportunity to partner either with recreation or, for example, like maybe a fire district, and build a complex that is a community center, and even if it's not all of it, part of it is ready to take Category 5, that allows for us to keep supplies, the first responders, and important equipment that we need right after a storm, and keep that protected. And so as we build out, like I talked about with the paddle loop earlier, and provide economic development opportunities throughout the parish with this 65-mile loop that would be the only one in the state, we also need to make sure our communities are strong, that kids have an opportunity, like I said earlier, to get tutoring, to have where our elderly people can go get lunches at all the different community centers like we're doing in a few recreation districts right now. So we need to make sure we have equal opportunity for recreation, all ages, no matter where you live, and that the communities don't have to come to Houma to get everything they need, and they get it right in their backyard. Thank you.
How will you fund your planned initiatives?
Go to the casino. Money, money, money. That's all we talk about is money. Because money is what drives everything to get fixed. So how are we going to do that? Without industry, our tax revenues are going down, and we already tax to the hilt. So how are we going to do it? Management. I don't plan to micromanage, but I do plan to micromanage the managers. I see too many abuses, myself personally, too many abuses. And I use this in several other places. I watched 6 guys, 8 guys, digging a ditch this wide with $200,000 machine and 2 dump trucks and 6 guys under the tree playing with their cell phone and leaning on their shovel. That is mismanagement. That's mismanagement. Can't happen. It can't happen. If we don't manage our money, you don't have any initiatives. It can be done. It's not impossible. You just have to tighten up the belt, and you can't play favoritism, and the good old boys gotta go. They can't have the contracts no more as they want. They have to participate in a fair environment in order to get everything done. I hope that I wouldn't be a kind of guy that would push to lay off people. It's my understanding there are 56 job openings in the parish right now. We don't need to expand services. We need to manage what we have.
What do you think is the most pressing problem facing the parish, and how would you address the problem?
In the words of my friend Mike LaRussa, insurance, insurance, insurance. You know, that is the biggest problem. Now, insurance we have 3 different types, 3 facets of insurance. We have wind and hail insurance, which is a state issue. Our state legislators have got to fix that. But we need a seat at the table. So I intend to work together with my counterpart, Matt Jewell in St. Charles, who's the parish president there, Archie Chasson Lafouche, as well as whoever gets elected in St. Mary Parish. So we could work together lobbying Baton Rouge for our wind and hail insurance. What we need is, if an insurer is going to do wind and hail in Louisiana, they need to do it in all Louisiana. They can't just say we're going to write north of I-10 or north of the Intercoastal. But we're going to have to work together to make that happen. Then we'll look at our flood insurance. We have 2 different facets there. We have risk rating 2.0, which is how they calculate rates. That's nationwide. We're already suing the, FEMA over how they calculate their rates. The entire state's in the same boat. But in Terrebonne Parish, we have something that's Terrebonne only, which is our flood maps, which don't take into account our levees. So what we're going to do is we're going to hire LSU to do a new surge model, including our levees. We're going to petition FEMA to change its flood maps. They'll deny us. We'll have to sue FEMA again. So there's 3 different facets to lowering our insurance. We've got to do all 3, and I'll do them at day 1 when I get in there. Thanks.
What are your plans to improve infrastructure?
I think I just had the question.
Didn't we have that already? Who had that?
There you go, Ms. Smith. Take mine.
It was close, but his was long. Let me pull another one. What sets you apart from other candidates?
So they gave me the question again. That's like cheating on the test, right? So I guess what sets me apart from other candidates? So one thing I will say that, again, this run for me is all about just Terrebonne Parish and the passion that I have from Terrebonne Parish. I lived away for a little while, but although I lived away from some time, I always stayed connected to Terrebonne Parish because I was always proud to be from here. So every time I would speak and I travel and I go somewhere, and it was like, you got a little accent. And they would name other places. I'm I'm from Terrebonne Parish. I'm from down the bayou. What's down the bayou? Go visit and find out. But at any rate, what makes me different, just not your average politician, but by definition, at this point, I'm a politician, and every one of us are, whether we want to be or not, so we are politicians. But one thing you're going to get from me is hard work. My experience in the military gave me the experience of being boots on the ground, very tactical, so boots on the ground. I'm that boots on the ground type of person. My education experience gives me a different approach, theory, research, and then the everyday person, I'm a hard worker. But I work for the people first. I'm all about people. That's what's important to me. I want to see everyone thrive, and what thriving looks like is exactly what success looks like. It looks different to everyone. It looks differently to each and every person in this room. So what thriving and success looks like for a senior citizen in this room is going to look different for a millennial. So that's what makes me different. I want to be able to take a approach that I'm getting people on board, forming committees in our communities. One of the things we haven't touched on was mental health and addiction services. So immediately, one of the things I want to do is start a task force to address those things in our community, to make sure that those voices are heard. Thank you.
What policies would you adopt to create jobs?
That's a tough one. What policies to create jobs? As parish president, pretty much my hands are tied for doing that. To create the policies, that would be the 9 council members that would do that and vote on that. Parish president does not vote, or does not have a vote. We veto. That's the vote that we do have. So as far as policies, that would definitely go to the 9 council members, and they would have to figure out the policies. They do the ordinances. They vote on all that. So the parish president would not do that, but I would definitely work with the 9 council members and make sure that we get the policies that we need. I would not tell them, I would not try to get my 5, my 3, or my 2. I would work with all 9. Thank you.
As parish president, what can you do to improve quality of life for the seniors of Terrebonne Parish?
They didn't say seniors last time, did they?
No. Seniors.
No, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't duplicated. Seniors have always been dear to everybody, but especially me, you know, from our crew of Hercules. I was in charge for 22 years of putting the senior dinners for Thanksgiving and Christmas together. We'd go out and raise money for the last 20 years, working with the Council on Aging. I was on a recreation task force recently, and one of our ideas that we came up and we believed in, you have a lot of gyms, community centers all over the parish and rural areas. And we should be able to expand TPR programs for during the day. Those gyms are empty. You know, we should have classes, exercise classes. One of the biggest things I thought was a travesty on the Council on Aging was we had 200 qualified people on Meals on Wheels when they were sitting on $20 million. 200 qualified people to receive Meals on Wheels, and they were sitting on $20 million. I've heard, well, I'm sorry, but it was free at that time. And they changed it. It used to be in the parish, and I think they outsourced it now. Under my administration, I will work closely and joint and provide all the resources with the Council on Aging to provide resources to our seniors. Thank y'all.
What are your top 3 priorities if elected?
Dig ditches, dredge a bayou, and pick up the trash. It's as simple as that. Yes. I have a pet peeve about making sure the ditches are cleaned, not sprayed. I want every ditch in this parish dug. You can spray it afterwards, but I want it dug. If our bayou needs to be dredged, it's outrageous. It's pitiful. I want it all the way from Thibodeau at the light by where you turn for Percy Brown Road. I want that clean. I don't want to see a blade of grass out of place. All the way to Cocodrie. I want them bayous clean. My husband and I take it upon ourselves to go around town and do some work. We've been going out there. Right now we're working at the St. Charles Street Bridge on West Park. We're cleaning up the bayou side right there. We actually saw an alligator yesterday. We're cutting trees, we're cleaning up the parish, and somebody has to do it, okay? And that's why I'm running for parish president. I want to see, it's good for public participation, but we just have a chainsaw and a weed eater. I need equipment. So I tell them, don't leave the keys on the equipment because it may be gone. I have a passion about that, and that is my passion, is to clean up Terrebonne Parish, make it more presentable for people, make it for people that want to come here and stay here. We have got to clean up this parish. That bayou is our pride and joy, and it's a drainage ditch. That's all it is. We have got to get fresh water back into that bayou to make it flow, to make it cleaner. There's just so much work that has to be done on that bayou, but that is our major draw in our parish, is our bayous. And we need to make them more presentable so people who want to go by there. I saw 2 kids fishing yesterday, and I thought to myself, I don't know if I'd eat that if I were you. So, in a nutshell, that's it. Thank you.
Question 5. Candidates will choose one question that you have been asked and give it to the candidate on your left. Choose one question, give it to the candidate on your left.
All right, my question that Ms. Connie so nicely let me choose from the 4, so I appreciate that. It's not quality of life, so we're starting off on a good note. What are your top 3 priorities when elected? So when I get elected, I'm going to deal with transparency in government, which I call good government, infrastructure, and I'm going to deal with economic development. So with transparency, you better go to the website, you better look at the budget, see how much money we collect, how much money we spend very easily by clicking on different categories. You also better see issues that you deal with, and when you put requests in, you better see all that online. When I look at economic development, like I talked about earlier, bringing in technology into other industries and building those industries up, making sure oil and gas and our fisheries are more set up for success, helping our small businesses with some roundtables that are industry specific. When I talk infrastructure, pushing hard to be our own DOT district. And one of the first projects that I want to do when I make our parish more efficient is take over Martin Luther King, put a median in it, and make it safer. I want to make sure all our roads are safe, no matter whose responsibility it is. We have to take ownership, and we got to make sure that our residents are safe and figure out a way to pay for it and do all that, but make sure, again, with the efficiencies, we're going to be able to find that money, and I'm going to do that day 1. But I want to make sure that our residents are safe, our infrastructure is sound, our communities are vibrant, our residents are safe, and every one of our residents has opportunities to be more successful and to make our parish a better parish and move our parish forward for the next 10 years. Thank you.
How would you handle a budget deficit or financial crisis or fiscal crisis? Mine is not to reason why, mine is but to do or die. I don't know why I said that. It is not, my theory is not to get into a financial crisis. Once again, if you exercise constraints, you cannot operate in the red. You have to have money, and you can't have it like a credit card. Government is not like a credit card, it's a business. You can't spend money off of a credit card and have mafia interest rates at 50%, and you can't pay it back. You have to live within whatever we have. That is a problem that we're going to have. I'm not the parish president yet, so I can't tell you, yes, I have the solution to the problem. I don't. You have to get into this problem first. Hopefully you won't, but you will. You will find it's management, again, it's management of money. Management of money. It's simple. If you ain't got it, don't spend it. And if you got people that don't want to do what's right, you get rid of them. Simple, pure and simple. Business. Business. Fairness, honesty, and justice. I'll leave you with that.
My question is, how would you handle disagreements with the parish council and other officials? I would flog them. You heard me quote Ronald Reagan. When I registered to vote, Ronald Reagan was president. And I registered Republican because that's, you know, I liked a lot of the things I saw in Ronald Reagan. One of the things I liked about the way Ronald Reagan approached disagreements with Congress is he went directly to the people. I don't know if you remember, but Ronald Reagan was called the great communicator because he communicated with the American people and kept them informed about what was going on. And as a result, that put the pressure on the congressman, because if you're doing something that people want, why should you be afraid to inform the people? So we're going to actually create a communication director's position within Terrebonne Parish. I'm not going to add government. We're just going to reshuffle people to make sure we have a communications person who's in charge of that. They have one in St. Charles, they have one in Lafourche. We have nobody in communications. So if we're not communicating with people, then what we're doing is we're not giving you power. But we are going to make sure that you know every step of the way what's going on in parish government. That way you have the power instead of maybe some council members who are maybe following a particular agenda. So how am I handle disagreements? I'm just going to be open, communicate. Probably won't have disagreements because the council members will know going into meetings exactly what they're voting on. And so I think communication is the key, and that's how I plan to handle any disagreements with council. Thank you.
So my question is, are there any parish regulations or ordinances that would you seek to change, repeal, or try to pass if elected? I guess my response would be to that is thank you for your service, right? So I started out today thanking you guys for your service. So I get that a lot as a military veteran. Thanks for your service. But I want the lives of veterans to be enhanced in our community. So when I think about what an ordinance may look like, I think we should take care of our own. My background also, I worked in veteran services while I was in Philadelphia. So I started and ran quite a few nonprofit organizations that revolved around serving veterans. Some of the funding we got was federal funding, some of it was local. So I would love to see an ordinance that support our local veterans here in our community to start a veterans service organizations, but a veterans center. Focus on a veterans center where we have resources that our veterans can utilize in the community, not only just for resources, for recreation, for camaraderie. So I want to be able to ordinance in place for private citizens, organizations to put into an investment into our veterans. I'm not saying that every homeless person that we see out there are part of the veterans community, but that thank you for your services. I want to see that our lives are enhanced as veterans in our local community by our people and supporting each other. Thank you.
And my question is, what do you think is the key role of the parish president? Well, the first key role is you got to follow the home rule charter. So I have to follow that. The council members have to follow that. That's like our Bible. We follow the policies in there. And the first thing also is to represent the people in the parish and be the administrator. And also listen to all people in the parish and work with the 9 council members. Listen to the priorities and the concerns of each district. Meet with them. Look at the budget. Get with my CFO and see where's the money and where we can put the monies to those projects that are the priority. Also, be accountable with y'all tax dollars and cut the wasteful spending. A lot of monies that have been utilized, if we use them in the right way, we can have so much more in the parish. So we have to be very accountable for that. And also work with the state legislators and your congressional delegation to get the funding that we do need for the parish, for the projects we need. And definitely listen and see what everyone wants in the parish, from the west side to the east side, and how we can work together to get things for the parish, and be here 24/7, show up for work from 8 to 4:30, and be there for the people when we have crises that come as far as hurricanes or any kind of problem, just like we're having with the fires. Thank you.
What do you think about the parish's current economic situation? We have some trying times, but I'm going back to the statement, insurance, insurance, insurance. If we can't afford to live here, what good is the economy? A little bit about myself. For 3 or 4 years, I was the legislative director representing 16,000 realtors around the state. I've worked Baton Rouge. I built relationships up in Baton Rouge on behalf of property rights, y'all's rights. I'll keep those relationships and I've met with many of the governor candidates, also met with the insurance commissioner, treasurer commissioner, commissioner of the Treasury. Terrebonne will have a seat at the table. That is our biggest concern. The rest falls in place, but it goes back. We have a housing crisis. We can't afford the houses. I met with a worker yesterday, going to sell his house. Who's going to buy it to move in a camper? And then we have a lot of grant opportunities with the storm recovery, from Deadwood to Dulac. We need to treat everybody the same. This is a critical time in our life. If we only have one chance to rebuild our community, it needs the right leadership. And without that, we're in dire straits. Thank y'all.
Do you believe it's necessary to continue to focus on coastal erosion, levee projects, rebuilding barrier islands? I've been a proponent for this since 1984 when Juan hit and put 4 foot of water in my mama's house. I'm from Locaia. I've seen the loss that we have. There is no land left between Locaia and Grand Caia. When I was growing up, that was a forest. Now you can ride a boat from the back of my house at the Bayou Neuf pump station to Ashland. You can see Chavez Camp from Ashland. That was hidden before. All of that was hidden by trees and wetlands. Now it's all open water. I want to see us rock those islands. I want us to make those islands large enough, because they're our first defense for hurricanes. I want Rock Island out there. I want Sand and Rock Island out there. I want us to rebuild our coastline to where we have land again, to where we don't have to depend on a levee to protect us. If the land goes far enough out, we don't need the levees. My mama lived 12 miles outside of Houma and had 4 foot of water in her house. Think about that. When you get up in the air from the Terrebonne Parish Airport, you're looking at the Gulf. It's a lot closer to what y'all realize. And yes, the levees and the locks are protecting us right now. But just think if we had our coastline back to the 1800s. There's no reason why we shouldn't have dredges out there 24/7 pumping Lake Boudreaux back between Locaia and Grand Caia. So if we would rock around the top of Lake Boudreaux, start dredging Lake Boudreaux, put the dirt back where it belongs, and continue that all the way along our coast. Rock the whole coast. That's fine by me. If we can get that done, I would be one proud mama.
Candidates, it's your turn to choose. From the candidate on your right, choose any of their questions to answer. You can choose any of the questions they have, including the one that was previously given to them.
My question that I chose from 3 to my right or something to my left is, what do you think the key role of the parish president is? And I'm going to start with that being leadership. You have to set up your employees for success before you can hold them accountable. And the parish president is only as good as that person's directors. And so we have to make sure, one of the first things I do when I get in is I'm going to look at job descriptions. I'm going to look at, make sure that tasks are measurable. And I'm going to make sure that people are set up for success so that I could then hold them accountable. We have a lot of passionate, hard-working people in the parish working. You know, parish workers have that that stigmatism of being lazy. But I always say when I see something posted on Facebook or when I see something that somebody might not be aware of, like everybody passes a building that's blighted, but does anybody call? So we got to make sure that our residents are part of the process, right? We're a group that doesn't wait on government. So why wait on government to fix stuff, or maybe wait on government to even think if they know or not? Let's all make that call. Let's all get involved. And once we get involved, when it comes to an example like nuisance and abatement, there's a process, and it counts down with days. But they can't start working on a building until they know about it. So if you see trash, pick it up. If you see trash that you can't pick up, let somebody know so that they have the opportunity. And so I've led many of the organizations in the parish, Chamber, Rotary, Relay for Life. I created an Alzheimer's board. Every time I got involved in something, it was to address a need or make that organization better. And I just want to do the same thing for our parish, help take it to the next level, and leave it better than when I found it. Thank you.
My question is, would you be willing to veto decisions of the council you disagree with? 100%. If you elect me, you're putting your trust in me that I'm going to make the right decision. Not the council. We may disagree, and they'll have to come to terms. And I know it's a give and take thing, but I will be the parish president. I'm not going to be a dictator, but I'm going to be close to one, I guess. I don't know. I have my own ideas about things. And if you elect me, if you don't want me, don't elect me. What you see is what you get. It's a shame to be so, I don't mean to trivialize things, and I don't mean to make these quotes so much, but this is the first crowd that I get to expand on some of my plethora of knowledge, so to speak. And I want what is right for the parish. My passion has been for the poor man, the underprivileged, the elderly, all those that count. The old Indian that sits under the tree at Pointe-au-Chien at Ile-Jean-Charles doesn't exist anymore. They pushed him off into the field over there. He can't get to his boat, and he's going to die a miserable Indian. My passion will be my drive. And I promise you, you can't beat my passion. Fairness, honesty, and justice.
My question is, how would you attract more business and investment to Terrebonne Parish? James Carville's from New Orleans, and he was one of the top advisors for President Bill Clinton when he was running for election. And he kind of put it into words. He said, it's the economy, stupid. And everything comes down to the economy. If we want a clean blight in the Terrebonne Parish, we need to have a strong economy to create a demand for a house so they buy that property and fix it up. Everything we do comes down to our economy. Now, when I served on the Terrebonne Economic Development Authority, it was in the first 6 years. It was fully funded. And we created hundreds of jobs, protected hundreds of jobs. Since I got off the authority, parish presidents have come, and TIDA's a state agency. It's not controlled by the parish president. And so funds have kind of been pulled away from TIDA, where TIDA could hire a director and a secretary, but not do much else. I'm going to fully fund TIDA. I'm going to set them out to sell Terrebonne Parish to site location consultants looking to locate. Right now, we have no salesperson. You know, we're a car lot with no car salesman. We're not going to create a lot, you know, we're not going to sell a lot of cars. We're not going to get a lot of businesses here if we don't have somebody selling them. Second of all, I am going to attract business here whether they compete against my good friends or not. Right now, we want economic development as long as they don't compete against so-and-so or this so-and-so who donated a lot to my campaign. We're going to seek jobs, create jobs, and we're going to build our economy. It's the economy, stupid. Thanks.
So my question is, what is your vision for the parish? So my vision for the parish, so as a business consultant, one thing that happens each time a client comes in, the first thing we always go through, it doesn't matter if it's a startup or a business that's farther along in their in the process, right? Infancy stage or not. Always asking, what's your mission? What's your vision? And individuals are also asking, what's your personal mission statement? So a mission is what we do now, what we're doing now. And a vision is what we want to see as a result of that. So my vision for Terrebonne Parish is a Terrebonne Parish, again, that thrives for all people. And what that looks like for me specifically would be, as your future Terrebonne Parish president is, that thriving for me looks like companies. We have to, I can't emphasize that enough, that small businesses run America, and that includes Terrebonne Parish. So we have to make sure that our businesses are properly prepared to run, be competitive. Not just competitive here, we have to think outside of what that looks like. We have to realize that we're part of a global economy. Although our business may rest in this parish, we have to be competitive globally. So that's number one, to make sure that our businesses are properly prepared. Tourism is big for me. I think we should build our tourism industry out a little bit. We're so unique in everything that we do here. Our culture is certainly unique, and I love it. And I'm sure most of you guys do as well, because you're still here. But we need to build out our tourism industry also. So that's what I see for a Terrebonne Parish that looks like it's flourishing in the future for us. Tourism and building our businesses. Thank you.
And my question is, as parish president, what can you do to improve quality of life for the seniors of Terrebonne Parish? Well, first of all, I'm going to listen to my seniors, and I want to know from the seniors what they want in this parish. I will get with the executive director of the Council on the Aging to hear what needs to be done for the parish. I would love to see, and I would have to talk to quite a few people, because as parish president, my hands are tied. I could say what I'd like to see, but I would like to see a senior community center like Sun City in Florida, where they have activities for the seniors. They have where you have a pool where you can go and do exercises. It's an indoor pool, and you can have outdoor pool. You can have any kind of activity to help them to thrive and be with other people, to be able to talk and interact. Also meet with, have different groups within the parish, because you have the west side of Houma and the east side of Houma. So you got to find out in those different areas what they would like for their quality of life. Would it be a pool? Would it be an exercise area? And also a daycare is something that I've asked Michelle Claudet with the Council on the Aging. If we could get that, that would be awesome to, for our seniors. But I would listen, and first of all, have a round table and listen to see what we need here in this parish for our seniors, so it would be a better quality of life. Thank you.
What are your thoughts on tourism? For Hurricane Ida, one of my clients had a hotel, and he was giving some furniture out, and I was there collecting it to go put out to some areas. I was sitting down while they were taking the furniture out, and you see those tourism brochures, about 200. I started looking. One place from Terrebonne Parish. One place. The rest was Natchitoches, this, that, there, everywhere, but Terrebonne. So you start thinking, what do we have? Think. It's hard. Not too many of us going on swamp tours, but it's great. Don't get me wrong. I met with one yesterday, or last week, 7,000 a year he goes through. Unbelievable. However, one of my main priorities for tourism, I want to turn Main Street after Thanksgiving to the Natchitoches of the South. I want to create the bayou scenes. I want to make the lights. I want to have the vendors. I want to have festivals every weekend till Christmas. I'm a kid at heart. I think it's going to be a great deal. What will that spur? That might have some investments for bed and breakfasts to pop up in the downtown area. I think that's one attraction. It's not a year-round attraction, but at least we could start somewhere. When I was a little kid, I used to get my eyes lit up, for y'all remembered. The only lights we saw in Terrebonne was at the hospital, if y'all remember that. They had the little carousel, the little alligator, and I still remember that today. So, look, thank y'all.
What do you think is this parish's biggest strength? As we said before, it's our people. We came home because we missed our people. We missed our culture. We're very unique down here. And with that being said, that's where I get my passion for this area. I want to see us thrive down here and enjoy our culture. We lost all the church fairs when the bishop took the church fairs out. Lanyap used to attract hundreds and thousands of people to down the bayou. We need those festivals, and I think now our festivals should be held downtown. I think that's where our downtown is going to come back at. Retail, You can have a little retail downtown, but honestly, it's so hard for retail to make it in today's world. You have so much online. Even the big boxes having a hard time keeping up. You can't build a $30,000, $300,000 building downtown and expect to sell a dress for $5, $10, $25. It's just not going to make it. After owning a business downtown, I can tell you, you can shoot a cannon down Barrow Street after Friday afternoon. There's nobody down there. So I think it gives us every opportunity to have festivals downtown where people can gather and enjoy each other's company, because I think that's our biggest strength. Also, the 3, 2, 1, I'm done.